Here we go. Okay.
Hello, hello.
Okay.
Bonjour.
Do you think you're good to go?
I feel like I'm going to do
Okay.
a presidential address or something.
Okay, we ready? Hi, Theo.
Hi.
I was wondering when two things. When you first met Shailene, what was your impression, and what about her surprised you when you started working with her that you thought, I didn't know she'd be like that?
Yeah, it was very refreshing actually to meet her because inevitably you meet on the test and you don't know each other, and it's always slightly awkward because you're doing a kind of intimate scene with someone you've never even set your eyes upon. But she's really refreshing, and she's very open to really kind of collaborating as two people and making the scene as good as possible. And I found that when we were filming, what she was great intuitively at is that, when you're doing a big film like this, you may be in the midst of a big stunt sequence, or it's a green screen, or and sometimes it's easy to get lost in that. And what she's great at, and what we managed to do a lot, is really ground the work, as pretentious as that sounds, but bring it back to the fact that the reason you're there is because you're trying to tell a story about two people or several people. And I think she's so great at that, like very emotionally intuitive, and being able to bring a truth to something, even in the kind of craziest circumstances.
Hi, Theo.
Hey, what's up?
I wanted to ask you about working with director Neil Berger and his vision for bringing this story from the novel to the big screen.
I'm a big fan of Neil. He's a very cool dude, but also he's a very smart person with very good taste. And I was very pleased when Shay and I saw the movie on Sunday. Inevitably, there's some trepidation when you see a film because you give it up, you give it over, you finish with your job, and we were really pleased at what came about, and I think he managed to really keep a lot of integrity. There's no dumbing down, there's no kind of simplification, and there are some really strong themes in it about questions of determinism, questions of choice, identity, things that people can really relate to, but also things that are a bit deeper than the surface level. What we did, Shay, myself, and Neil would be always revisit the scenes the night before, a couple of nights before, when things weren't feeling right, and then do several revisions of it to make sure we were all at a place where we felt that this was a genuinely good scene, and it also worked kind of not only in the context of honoring the material, but it was real and specific and good, essentially. Another thing Neil did was really create a genuine world that you buy into, at least I hope, because I believe that. And I remember one thing he said was, there's a point in the book where someone dies, one of the kind of wannabe initiates, someone dies very early on, and we were asking, why he thought that shouldn't be there. And he said, look, what you need to do is you need to set up a construct, because people love to use the word dystopia, but it's not really a dystopia at the beginning. You need to set up a construct where this is a world that seems to be functioning. You need to buy it, because then inevitably when the downfall of the world comes, that means the stakes are higher and it means something. Because if you're in a world where it's like all shit and you don't empathize with it, and you don't want to be there, and you don't want to kind of be in these people's company, then you're not going to care. So I thought that was a really strong thing that he did, set up a world that is real. Then with the kind of the whole military coup that happens with the erudite faction, then it means something, and the stakes change.
Hey, Theo, could you talk a little bit about what was the toughest stunt you had to do, what kind of training you did, and just a favorite memory of Chicago?
Toughest stunt was, I guess, with Shay, I just wanted to practice as much as possible the kissing scene, but she wasn't really up for it. So I was like, listen, tonight, after dinner, we could just go over that scene again. No, I think, for me, the end scene, it's a kind of big climax where there's a fight, and then that leads into to really the climax of the whole movie. And what is great about that, but what I really wanted to honor, was you have this really dynamic fight scene, and it's visceral and painful, and Shay gets punched in the face many times, which is kind of that's quite hardcore in many ways. But also in the midst of the scene is really a story about her getting through to him, through love, and that was kind of something that I really wanted to honor. And then, genuinely, the kissing scene, Shay and I, in a real way, we wanted that to be as good as possible, because it's the only time they get together. It's the only kind of really kind of, I don't know how to describe it, kissy, smooshy scene or whatever. And we wanted it to be good and to still kind of to fulfill the you know the kind of things that it needed to fulfill, but also be real and not kind of ebb on the side of lots of cheese. So yeah, we actually shot that a second time because the first time it didn't feel quite right, and we really wanted to honor it in the way that it's earned. And I think hopefully it's earned because there's not lots of like, you know, batting eyelids and kind of fawning towards each other in the whole film. It's quite a functional, tough, kind of intricate, complex relationship. So when eventually they kiss, I hope that it's earned and, you know, it's not just, oh, okay, they've got to get it on, here it is kind of thing.
Hi. So the producer said you and Shailene actually climbed the Ferris wheel, like
Yeah.
your character. Or did you have any? Were you afraid of heights? Or what was that like?
It wasn't too bad because we were strapped in, so you felt kind of invincible. Although when I was up there, I was like, I'm going to test you guys and jump off, and he was like, well, you can do that. You still break your arm. I was like, oh, okay, maybe not. But yeah, I mean, in a good way, because we actually did it, you could draw on, if you were feeling those feelings, inevitably, you could draw on them and try and make it as real as possible. So yeah.